in order for a relationship to be healthy and for it to, you to feel whole, for her to feel whole, it's got to be more about what are you going to bring to the table. So it's more of relationships, marriages are very selfless. And seeing healthy marriages from the outside, they're very selfless because I'm doing the work in order to be the best version of me for you, for our family. And if I don't, it's not gonna probably work, or there's gonna be a lot of tension. Being in the financial planning world and doing that as a career, I see it all the time with families. The biggest tension is money, and why is it money? Because the husband and wife hadn't done whatever work in their past on trauma around finances, or maybe they were raised in a household where they weren't able to talk about money, or its parents kind of just kept it off to the side, or there was weird traumas that they brought into the family from their generation. And so you have these husbands and wives that are trying to figure out things financially, and they bring their own traumas with money to the table and their own insecurities around it, because most of the financial insecurities are not to do with it's less to do with like what's happening right now and figuring out a way to make this work, and more to do with like some internal trauma of like the way that our parents dealt with money, or some sort of insecurity we have from the past that hasn't been dealt with, because ultimately, like whether it's money fears or intimacy fear, whatever it is, we have to work through it in order for myself and my wife, or whatever the couple is, in order for them to have a healthy communication around that and be in alignment, like you said. So it's interesting, I guess. The bottom line is marriage is not easy, and are you willing to continue to do the work? Clearly, in Orange County, most people are not, or they get into a marriage from the wrong place, because the divorce rate I think is at 60%. And it's a great career for divorce attorneys here. So, there's people that can win on failed relationships, but I think it's just tough, and there's got to be more of a focus on what can I bring to the table, and less about what can I take, what can I take, what can I take. And we do live in a society that drives us that way of being a taker rather than a giver. And also too, we're human, so we're not perfect. And so we're all going to fall short. So it's that battle, and choosing, like I was going back to the whole idea from the start, choosing my way and what's best just for me, or, having a little bit of humility and choosing what's best for me, my wife, maybe my future family, for my friends, getting outside of myself. That's where the real freedom comes, is when I can, when I'm thinking less about Joe and thinking more about, how can I be a light in other people's day, and what can I bring that is going to bring more light into your life. Right. So
It's interesting because it's like you want to essentially act in the best interest of your highest self, like your future self, like Joe in 10 years, Ben in 10 years. Like, what are my actions that I can take today that will ultimately yield the greatest return in 10 years? And try to get to my highest timeline.
mhm.
And you're never going to catch those 10 years ahead, because the 10 years just keep moving back, right? But can I view all the actions that I take today from a lens of, this is for my highest good so I can become my highest self? And that would involve coming from a place of giving unconditionally when I meet someone. And if I get somebody who meets me in a way like that and comes back at me in a reciprocal type of way, right? Whether that's relationships, business, friendships, whatever it may be, those are the people that you can kind of grow with and build with. And it all comes back to, it's like, how do you view things as far as like the bigger picture? Because like, imagine there's this big picture, right? Big picture, big puzzle, right? All these different little puzzle pieces. Let's say the puzzle is complete, but you're so fixated on one piece, right? I am fixated on Ben in today in 2026. And that's the piece of the puzzle, the small little thing I'm focusing on right now. But it's like, can I take a couple steps back, zoom out, see the entire big picture of the puzzle and just go, hey, this challenge that I'm going through now, or this thing that I'm going through now with relationships or friendships or business is really just a part of the picture. It's not the whole picture. And knowing that I now see the whole picture, it's like, how do you take the actions and the steps that take you in the right direction to reach your highest timeline? And a part of that is also to work on a lot of those childhood traumas that we talk about. And because, like you said, there's people who bring these traumas into relationships that are unresolved. And everybody has traumas, and you're never going to solve or resolve 100% of them. But the question is how can you come from a place where your traumas stay your traumas and don't rub off on other people and become their traumas as well, because you're focused on yourself and maybe what voids they can fill or what you can take from them, and kind of focus on just giving unconditionally and trusting that the right people that are aligned for you in life will give back to you.